As a PlayStation 4 exclusive and probably its biggest launch title, Killzone Shadow Fall kicks off the new console generation and tries to set the bar high for the games to come. After the destruction of the Helgen Empire in Killzone 3, Shadow Fall proves that there is no keeping these evil gas mask wearing bastards down. The hype leading to Shadow Fall's release has been immense. The red carpet is rolled out, but does Killzone Shadow Fall deliver the launch goods? Following the events of Killzone 3, the Helgen Empire and planet were left in ruins after the Petricite bomb wiped out a large number of the Helgen population. With their planet uninhabitable, Dice allowed them to colonize on one side of their planet Vecta. With resentment and hate brewing on both sides, Vectans and Helgens are engaged in an endless Cold War-style espionage war. During the relocation, the Vectan people were not exactly treated warmly by the Helghast. Taking control of a young Lucas Keller, he and his father make their way to the Vectan side of the planet. Along their way, they meet Sinclair, a Shadow Marshal of the Vectan Security Agency.
This is my son, Lucas.
During this excursion, tragedy comes knocking as Lucas's father is killed. All alone in the world, Sinclair adopts Lucas. In a short montage, you see Lucas going through the ranks as he becomes a Shadow Marshal himself. Years into the future, tensions are still high, and with the Helghast making a move towards war, the narrative becomes increasingly familiar despite a more thoughtful introduction. Shadowfall's attempt to create a scenario that justifies war is made ridiculous by the lack of progressive mediators. The character development don't really occur in earnest, and the new worlds are never fleshed out. Lucas is thrown around, never making his own decisions, and the outcome of the finale can be seen from a mile away. The narrative is a mess. For franchise veterans, it's hard to empathize with the plight of the Helgen people after 3 games of them being portrayed as warmongering, fascist sociopaths. This makes the constant sharing of atrocities committed by both sides by the game's characters seems like whiny emo poetry, a contest to see who the bigger victims are between the Helgen and the Vectans. The end result does nothing to push the franchise in the right direction, with nothing to look forward to. The level design and gameplay of Shadowfall's campaign have gone through some renovations. The pull-by-the-nose mission objectives have been cut down from a more open approach. With a higher emphasis on stealth and objective freedom, it diverges from the more conventional linear ethos of previous titles. Earlier missions pay much attention to the new style, but as the game progresses, it falls back to a more conventional design. It does give player a bit of freedom to tackle certain objectives as pleased, but compared to other games such as Far Cry 3 and DSX, the attempt seems half-hearted. The uninspired missions do little to evoke an interest in stealth, and the randomness of being detected lessens the incentive to be cunning and sneaky. An upgrade and unlock system might have facilitated better stealth gameplay. As such, expect to engage in numerous uninspired gunfights. The newest Arsenal edition comes by the name of Al, an advanced hovering attack drone with several abilities to aid Keller across multiple missions. Al's integration of Keller's arsenal changes the way you play tremendously. Al is used as a means to progress through the campaign, providing a zipline, deploying a stationary shield for cover, or assaulting and shocking enemies. Handling the Al using the PS4 touchpad works well, with no real issues. And Al does make combat scenarios more interesting. The most important tweak to Shadowfall is the improved character handling. The sluggish controls of the past are gone, and these changes remedy the many issues that plagued its predecessors. The control layout adopts a more conventional setup, and the almost non-existent aim assist is a testament to the upgrade. Gamers who adapted to the previous physics have stated its uniqueness, but Guerrilla Games' choice to modify these aspects of the game is definitely welcomed. In the past, the most absorbing aspect of Killzone has been its multiplayer. The large-scale battles were a constant adrenaline rush, but with many flaws that never hit the mark. Frequent spawn camping and mechanics that were never polished nor balanced enough to compete with others in the crowd made it a to-go experience for a few gamers. The new mechanics really make the multiplayer experience much more tolerable, and the spawn camping is a thing of the past. Other aspects of Shadowfall's multiplayer suite have been cut or otherwise moved back a step, however. The player count has been trimmed to 24, and the mechs of Killzone 3 are gone. If you've been playing other multiplayer games of the same genre, you may find Shadow Fall comparatively empty. At times it seems lifeless, with little background noise or anything to create a sense of chaos that warring factions tend to cultivate. Followers of the Killzone series will not be disappointed, and newcomers will find some unique features in Shadow Fall. Your mileage will vary as such. You can't deny the visual upgrades that come with the new hardware. Killzone has always featured head-turning graphics and pushed the technical limit of the hardware it's on, but the setting of the previous titles gave it little stylistic appeal. Immediately, Shadow Fall's broader color palette is a welcome sight, but upon crossing the wall into the Helgen territory, the dark tones are back and everything becomes familiar. Voice acting doesn't hit all the right notes, which makes no sense considering the great work done on its predecessors. And that's a shame, since facial animations are excellent.
You're just the same. A race of cowards.
In spite of its new look, there's ample room for improvement. The variety of enemy classes are limited, and some of the effects are bland considering the possibilities. The more impressive elements do shine, and with the new colors, facial animations, art direction, and graphics combined, Shadow Fall pleases visually. Killzone Shadow Fall is packing some heat in the visual department, and the multiplayer has some potential, but for all the steps forward, a few are taken in the other direction. The narrative fails to strike a single emotional chord, the multiplayer isn't as spectacular, and the player count has shrunk, but some improvement has been made. Killzone Shadow Fall is a mixed bag, but for all its stumbles and stutters, it does generally show you a good time. If you're in the market for a great campaign, look elsewhere. But if you want a multiplayer game to play with all your PS4 owning buddies and are put off by Battlefield 4, this might just scratch your itch.